Okay, so now we're going to talk about preschoolers. So remember when you saw the toddler, he was speaking primarily in single words or short 2 and 3 word sentences, still really hard to understand. And his language was still really very simple and basic. Preschoolers start to make some major changes from that point. They understand much more than they can talk about. Typically, they can understand quite a lot. They can follow some commands, and they also start to understand simple humor, which is a really fun development. Their vocabulary grows into the thousands of words by the time they're at the end of their preschool years. They're using complete sentences to talk. They're communicating for all kinds of purposes, including requesting, informing, pretending, and entertaining. And if you have ever spent any time with a preschooler, you'll know that pretending and entertaining are two very huge parts of what they do on a day-to-day basis. Their speech sounds become more accurate and they're fairly easy to understand. In fact, by the time a child's 4, you should be able to understand most of what they're saying. They can even adjust their voice to match their listener. So if they're talking to a baby, they might use almost that motherese kind of intonation. If they're talking to an adult, they might try to sound a little bit more grown up, so they can kind of match their audience a little bit better. And they're still using gestures, but those gestures really only exist to enhance their communication. They're not really relying on gestures anymore if their communication is typically developing. So here's a video of preschooler communication. Now this little girl is really quite precocious, so there could be other children her age who aren't talking quite this much, who are still typically developing, but I think it's a pretty good example of how much things can change. This little girl is 4.
Why?
Hold on. What is this? What is this thing that you want from Santa?
So it's kind of wide, but her legs are filled with white spots and white stuff and black stuff.
And what does it do that makes it so special?
So I really want it because I want it to copy me.
The doll?
It's a doll?
Yeah, it's a doll that copies.
How does it copy you?
So if you say something, it says something.
Like what?
Like it says whatever you say.
Give me an example.
I already did.
No, give me an example.
So you can see that she is matching the way she's talking to the people she's with. She's using full sentences. She's starting to master a little bit of humor, you can tell. She's pretty easy to understand, so some really nice developments for her as a preschooler. When we get to talking about school-age kids, they have a huge growth. They show huge growth in receptive language and vocabulary, including slang words. Think about how much slang teenagers use and preteens. They're starting to really figure all of that out. They're definitely no longer talking about just the here and now. They're talking about lots of abstract thoughts, ideas, concepts, things that happened to them before, things that they want to happen to them in the future, the feelings that they have, interactions with their peers, the nuances of relationships. They're starting to talk about a very wide variety of things. They're also talking about academic concepts, so having to explain, what some of the important social studies vocabulary might be, or scientific terms, things that are definitely much more advanced than a preschooler would be talking about. These years are really, really key because this is when reading and writing develops, and obviously you need to be able to develop your literacy skills to a pretty high level to participate well in society. By the time they're in school, all of their speech sounds should more or less be correct. Obviously, as they get older, their pitch changes as well. And their peer groups and their gender significantly impact their communication and what that looks like and how that develops. They also have a better understanding of space and time. So it might seem like that's it. They're all done. They don't have much more to learn. They're good to go. But actually, we're never done developing our communication. And every adult in the world needs to learn new ways to communicate all the time, new vocabulary, new social norms or expectations if you're in a new workplace or a new environment or a new friend group. These are things that we are constantly working on adjusting as we go, especially if you think about lately with the pandemic. There's been such a huge switch towards online communication. I think many of us have had to adjust how we're communicating in a new format. So we're all constantly learning. When you get into early and middle adulthood, you continue to build that comprehension. Your vocabulary really starts to reflect what you've done at school and what you're doing for work. You develop more specific vocabulary sets for those different settings. You communicate about a really wide variety of topics. You can talk about a lot of different things. That written language continues to become more sophisticated as you get older and becomes even more important because we tend to need more written language in order to conduct our daily affairs. We tend to get better at manipulating rate, rhythm, and pitch to enhance our messages. And we also become kind of further entrenched in those sociocultural and individual variables and cultural factors that help to determine our nonverbal communication. That nonverbal piece is also something that's really developing and changing over time, depending on the environment that you're in. In older adults, we do see some changes, but this isn't always negative. It's just a change. And some of these things can actually be positives in some ways. So for older adults, if you've interacted with, for example, your grandparents, you may notice that they understand less as they start to experience some trouble with hearing loss. That's quite common. You may notice that they start to use words that sort of show their age a little bit, words that reflect the generation that they're part of. Sometimes those words are no longer socially appropriate, in fact, but that's part of the vocabulary that they grew up with. Sometimes you'll find that older adults may focus more on the past than on the future. They may have very few communication partners depending on where they're at in their stage of life. It's possible that they've lost their partner or their spouse, that maybe some of their extended family has moved away or also passed away. They've started to lose their friends depending on their age. And so their opportunities are just a bit more restricted than they would have been before. And in some cases, that's quite drastic. They start to slow down when they're talking. Their pitch may get a little bit higher and their vocal quality might change as well. So they may sound a little bit hoarse or raspy or quieter than usual than they used to. When we think about nonverbal communication, they're typically showing a little less body movement. They're not moving as much, not gesturing quite as much, not showing as much with their whole bodies, especially if you think about the fact that they may have limited mobility at that point in time if they're older. And in general, their significant others around them tend to be less available for communication, which can really change things. So I know, for example, one of my grandparents, when I would go to visit him, he was quite lonely. And so every time I try to leave, he would stand at the door and talk my leg off for, close to an hour before I could actually manage to get out the door because he just was so starved for people to talk to. So be aware if you're dealing with older adults, that is something that is very, very real. And if you can be a communication partner for them, that is a great thing. So if we think about how language and communication changes in typical aging, we know that some of these changes do occur, but in typical aging, they don't tend to significantly affect daily life functioning. We know that form generally stays intact, so their grammar, their morphology, their sounds that they're using, that stays intact as they age. Their vocabulary might actually improve as they age, especially if they are reading a lot about a lot of different things. They continue to build that vocabulary. However, even in typical aging, that word retrieval might be a little bit more challenging. So that's, if you think back to our case study about Marge, where she's feeling like those words are just on the tip of her tongue sometimes, that's something we all experience. That can become more pronounced, but that's not a major concern if it's only happening every so often. Even in typical aging, that can happen. We do know that the way that older people kind of understand and produce stories or conversation may be affected by age. And so you have to think about what factors could contribute to these problems. So you might find that maybe older adults are talking a lot and they kind of don't know when to stop. We talked about how loneliness could be part of that. Hearing can always come into play. So maybe they know that they can't really hear you when you're talking, so they talk to fill all of the space. You may find that sometimes they may talk less if they're lonely, because they're just not used to having those conversation partners around them anymore. So those are things to think about. You may notice that there are some changes with how they're kind of telling stories and engaging with you in conversation, even if they're aging in a completely typical way. So we do know also that cognitive aging is a thing that occurs, and it happens differently for different people. And so some people will experience a substantial cognitive decline as they age, and other people will not. And we know that as we age, there becomes more and more difference in how people are doing cognitively. Everyone is different. You want to make sure that you're not making any assumptions about what somebody is like as an older person or a senior, because the variation is huge. So you could have someone who is 75 who has all of their faculties completely intact and is still communicating much more like somebody who is 40 or 50. And then you could have another 75-year-old who perhaps has had substantial cognitive decline and isn't communicating all that much, or is communicating in a very different way. So it's just important to not make any assumptions about people because of their age, because everyone is so different. Okay. So before we break again for our next video, I just wanted to show you a clip of this video where a school-age child meets a 101-year-old. And I want you to think about the things that we talked about for school-age kids and the things that we just talked about for older adults, like maybe the slower rate, the voice quality, those kinds of things. See if you can take some of those characteristics that we described and notice them here.
Did you have forks or knives in the old days?
Forks and knives? Oh, sure. And spoons. Hello.
Hi.
Hi, Micah.
Hi.
I'm Alice.
Nice to meet you, Alice.
Alice.
Alice, I'm sorry.
What is your name?
Clara.
Clara. I'm very happy to meet you.
What are we here to talk about?
Well, I think it might be how old I am.
How old are you?
I'm in my 101st year. 101.
101?
Right. Did you ever know anybody else that old?
No.
I don't even know anybody else that old.
Where are you from?
Well, originally I was born in Philadelphia, way, way over on the East Coast.
I was born in New York City.
Oh, you were? So you were born in the East too?
Yeah. How was it like back then?
We didn't have radio. We didn't have television. No telephones when I was a little girl. There were not any trucks. They had wagons and horses pulled them.
Wow, that must have been a long time ago.
It was a long, long time ago.
Okay, so hopefully you were able to observe some of the characteristics that we talked about before. And this is where we'll break for now, and we'll get to this part in our next video.